Hey guys, welcome to the Go to Game show. This is where Jack and I catch up every week in this brand new world where we're now all working from home. Well, some of us are all working from home, but this is our opportunity to catch up, have a chat to each other, and find out what we've been up to, and also talk about some gaming news. And we're always joined every week by another member of the gaming community, usually one of our good friends. And this week, it's the one and only Conky. How you
Pleasure to
going?
see you guys. Nah, awesome. Really good. It's a little bit different over in WA, I suppose. Like I'm still in the office. I have been for a while, but man, I'm feeling for my Melbourne homies. Hey, like really, really rough at the moment.
totally.
But,
Big time.
yeah, it's good that
Big
we can
time.
do this kind of
Well,
stuff, though. It's awesome to be on the show.
yeah, I mean, you've got the Melbourne homies as well as the Auckland homies are back on lockdown
Yeah,
as
of
well.
course. That's right. No, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Although they went into lockdown with only like 12 cases, whereas Melbourne did it at like 1 million.
It feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Jack, what have you been up to this week?
GTA again. A lot of GTA.
Really?
What did I write down here? I wrote GTA because I had to write it down because I just forget sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've been playing.
We wouldn't have known that you've been playing GTA if you didn't mention it.
Yeah.
If I didn't write it down, no. I always forget. I've been playing PGA a little bit. PGA 2K21.
How's that been going? Because that's a bit of a departure from your usual game.
Yeah, I haven't streamed it yet. I'm gonna jump on with Pez and Pro Panda and whoever else wants to jump on and play some games. But it's actually really fun. It's
That's that
like
golf
the whole
club that we're
yeah.
sitting, right, at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole like the mechanics of it, like to swing, you've got to like pull your mouse down. I'm using a mouse and keyboard, so but you can like do everything. I've played golf a few times before, so it's sort of like if you know a little bit about golf, it's actually pretty interesting the way you can choose your clubs and everything as well. So I've been playing a little bit of that, and I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh no!
This
most ambitious RPG project.
This
you know
new
what?
segment is brought to you thanks to Raid Shadow Legends.
Bro, it's actually
before
fun.
we get into the show. Before we get into the show this week, Jack's got something to say about it.
Yeah. I have been playing it by myself, and it's really fun. No, but I actually have been playing it because Pez plays it as well a little bit. So I was like, I'll check it out, and it's actually
actually
fun.
a good game. Does it?
Yeah, that's it. Because you can play it on your PC now as well, can't you?
Yeah, I've been playing it on the PC like a little bit, and then I got it on my phone as well. So like, I'm just like chilling with the kids before dinner, and then like they're like watching it, and like we're just like they're like tapping on the screen. It's like a turn-based game. You just tap the thing, tap the screen.
Yeah.
So like even they can like get involved. I don't know what they're doing, but they're just pressing the screen. But things are happening, and magic's going off, and people are fighting and shit.
Since this is 50% your show and 50% my show, do I now get 50% of your affiliate link clicks?
Yeah.
We just have to have like a 2-minute ad at the start telling everyone the same information that's been thrown 100,000 times.
Yeah.
We'll do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me for games. Nothing too
well,
crazy.
apart from work myself, it's been actually a weird week for work. But we've done some pretty cool things. Hopefully, some things come across the line we'll be able to start talking about them publicly. But gaming-wise, Fall Guys has literally been all I've been playing in the last week. And 4 crowns.
As I was about to say, how many dubs? I've got 0 so far, but only like
0.
2 hours or something. I think I've got, so we'll give it a go.
I think I had a look the other day. I think I'm up to like only 34 hours or something on it.
That's still a lot of hours, though.
Well, the funny thing is you know me, Jack. I'm not a heavy like gamer. I don't stream every night. I don't play games every single night. But when I do find a game that I really enjoy, I usually just get right into it. Yeah, and this is one, enough. Bro. And I think with the world the way it is at the moment, this is such a cool game that's just dumb, fun. It's very quick. It's hilarious. It's rage-inducing. It's awesome. Yeah. And apart from the gaming side of things, actually, the other gaming thing I was going to mention is, I don't know if you saw my tweet last night, Jack, or Conky. Last night I decided because my son brought me home an old CRT TV.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did
So
see that
it's
actually.
the big bad boy up there with Tekken on it.
Oh,
Yeah. I did
So
see a tweet
he
actually.
brought me that home, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! I'm going to test it, see if it works." He found it on the side of the road on the way home from school.
Yeah.
And carried it all the way home. Um, and I thought, I'm going to test it out. Ripped out the Nintendo 64, went to plug it in. Oh shit, where are my RCA cables? Opened up the cupboard and discovered that at some stage, that same child had decided to look for some cables in my box of meticulously rolled up cables that I had, and they were a mess.
I saw the photo actually. Now you mention it.
Yeah, like
It's
it
just
was
a literal
mess. Like,
bird's nest.
it was literally one of those moments where you look at it. Stood up and walked out of the room and said, "I'm going to deal with that later."
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But because of it, I ended up dealing with that. Got it all set up. You see, I've got all my old machines and stuff out now, rather than the collection of crap that I had sitting there. So got that sorted. And the other one was I'm finally going to be on the NBN next week.
Hey.
Oh, damn. There you go.
After years of working on 4G.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Looking forward to that. That has not been the seamless process I thought it was going to be. I'm getting it through Aussie Broadband. Dealing with them has been brilliant. Not a bad thing to say about them at all. They signed me up super quick. Zero issues. It's not until the NBN took over their part of it. It has been so painful. So Aussie Broadband set up their end of it and gave me a message to say, "Yep, you're all good to go. Plug your box in, start doing your thing," and it didn't work. So it turns out the NBN cocked something out on the side of the road when they installed on our street, and I've had 3 phone calls in the last 24 hours from somebody at their call center asking me exactly the same thing each time, to the point where I was angry this morning when I got the phone call, right? And I basically said to her script beforehand. Okay, it was one of those situations where it was like, "Are you calling up about the connection to my house and want to go through the test process?" She goes, yes, I do. Why do you ask? I go, "I've already had this phone call twice." She goes, "Oh, well, there's no record of it, so can I please ask?" And I was just, "Oh, you want me to plug the box in? You want me to check the wall socket? Do you want me to unplug it for 5 seconds and then plug it back in? Do you want me to turn it back on and off again? Do you want me to then tell you what the lights are? And then do you want to run a test from your end?" She goes, "Yes." Yeah.
Far out.
So, yeah, ended up going through that. But on the 1st is when we're going to be live, apparently. They're coming around to sort out the issue.
Well, I guess we'll see, eh?
Looking forward to it, bro. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to being able to have somebody in here playing video games and being able to watch Netflix in the next room over without one of us getting angry with each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's either we're getting angry because our Netflix is lagging, or whoever's in here is getting angry because whatever game that's being played is lagging. Yeah.
Goddamn. What's been going on?
What about you, Conky?
Valorant's been the jam lately. I've been playing like a little bit of CS to try and keep fresh, because at the moment it's like there's a lot of like really high level Counter-Strike going on at the moment, which is awesome. But it's mainly being casted by like the team over in the ESL Sydney studio, which is great for them. They're doing a fantastic job, because right now ESL 1 Cologne would be on, which is like one of the most prestigious Counter-Strike events that goes around the world. We would have had IEM Sydney this week, I think it was. This weekend would have been. So I'm really sad about that. Like, not so much even for the event, like that's sad, of course, but not being able to see everyone is the saddest thing.
Honestly, there is this weekend I actually pulled out my IEM bomber jacket that I got from IEM 1. Because we helped Intel on that side of it.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
For IEM 1. I was gifted one of their bomber jackets, and I've barely worn it. And I didn't even think about it when it was just a shitty cold day, a weekend here. And I put on the bomber jacket to go fishing. And wasn't until I got home, I opened my phone and got a notification to say, it's IEM this weekend. I was just,
sad.
So not seeing everybody, eh?
Yeah, pretty devastated about that. But at the end of the day, like, you know, the other guys are getting such awesome opportunities. So I've just been trying to play a heap Counter-Strike where I can, and also Valorant to keep up with just the meta and the gameplay and the understanding of it. So whenever the casting does rear up again, that'll hopefully be, because I know there's some few things in the works, but they're all like, you know, behind the scenes until it happens. I'm just keen to get on the mic again, man. You know, I love it. It's so much fun. Doing the first Auto Valorant competition was awesome. You know, incredible team that we worked with, and the reception was really cool too. Aside from that, I've just been. I keep telling myself I played Among Us. That's really fun. I want to play that with like some more people. That'd be really good.
Yep.
And then Fall
I see
Guys. Same thing.
my son's downloaded Among Us, so I need to get in and give it a go. I haven't played it.
It's so funny, man. Like if you know, the one thing I actually did was I've got like a group of friends that have been playing games with for like 10 years now, and we all still catch up and here and there. But I actually gifted it to a couple of them to like say like, come play this. And we played it. It was like Has and Stuff, Fid. And, like first time when we played Tuesday night was so funny, like so funny. But yeah, look, I think Jack, you know the exact feeling, man. Like I don't know how you manage to do what we both do, except then add kids on top. Like it's actually insane how like working full time and then come into streaming. So I did certainly feel like a little bit of burn out a little bit, but I'm kind of like, now I know when to realize it's happening and then to like reel back a little bit. So just sort of trying to take it easy with what I'm playing and how long for. But yeah, I just want to, you know, play some more shit. Like I want to ramp up like Final Fantasy again, and so it's something you can really lay back and mainly interact with the chat whilst you're not having to like focus too hard. So gaming's really, really cool. We're in an awesome spot for it all right now. There's so much like different content and different stuff that you can play with friends, but also have a competitive experience as well. So we're in a really good place for all that.
Oh, totally. So tell us, Conky, how did you come up in this business?
Well, you both know me for a long, long time. Like a big credit to the Go-To-Game team, formerly, you know, Digivisor. I remember going out there the first time, but big credit to you guys because you were one of the groups. Like, I think when I originally met you both through Has, who have been the guys that really try and notice good people to connect with and build their brands and everything like that. So you guys have known me in the, I guess, commentary esportsy scene from the start.
I think, to be honest, the first time I met you was in a parking garage when Has had turned up with no credit card at his hotel room.
Yep, he did.
So
exactly.
That's me calling out Has right now, and I had to pay his bond at the hotel.
Well, he that first trip, I remember that was the first time I met him, like 5 years ago or something now.
Yeah, and it was his first time doing an event.
It was, just I think it was his first time like traveling because. You know, everyone thinks Australia and New Zealand is the same thing at times, but like as in, you know, grouped together so closely. But then it's international phone calls. Like your phone reception doesn't pick up, like all that kind of stuff, like super different. So that's how I got started there. But I guess my original background was I started playing Guitar Hero, which is why the CRT TV thing came up to me before, because I did the same thing. HD TVs had that input delay, so I had to get like an old box telly to play Guitar Hero, but I was at one point third in Australia at that.
Oh wow!
And I traveled for that a couple times, which was pretty funny.
So, question for you before you continue.
Have
you and Rudism ever had any interactions before?
We have. Yes.
Because not a lot of people actually realize that Rudism was a pro Guitar Hero guy before he ever blew up as a streamer.
He was the guy in New Zealand. Like he was ranked 1 across New Zealand the whole time. And I did actually get to play against him quite a few times, but there was one competition which was like WCG 2008 or something. And he was the New Zealand representative as far as I remember. But the Australian guy, he sucked. But the problem is all of us who were really good were too young to be able to, like, me 16-year-old, not even compete, 16-year-old me going, hey, Mum, can you pay for my flights to Sydney so I can go play Guitar Hero? No, son, go do something better.
And video games legitimately weren't seen as a legitimate thing then, right? So asking your mum, hey, I'm going to be a pro video gamer. Can you pay for me to go do this thing? Of course your mum...
In 2008.
It's going to give...
And there was no chance because back in Perth, there was no state qualifiers for that event. It was Sydney and that was it. So if you
for those who don't understand how far Perth is from Sydney, like
it is 4.5-hour flight.
It is basically an international flight.
Or a 30-hour drive. Some shit.
It's nuts.
Yeah, so that was where I got my start there. And I remember climbing up the cyber gamer ladders and stuff like that when I was young. And then I got into Call of Duty. I was doing that quick scoping bullcrap, which is where I met Has. I was in a team called Envy, which is quite big at the moment. That was probably my first like into the popularity world. So all the people still follow me for some reason, like Pomage and FaZe Sprat and all those guys like still follow me on Twitter, which is really cool. And then I took a bit of a hiatus because the COD scene, which you guys would have probably seen, has a tendency to be extremely toxic.
I've been attacked by those guys.
Yeah, it made me like, I still see it now, like, getting up and screaming at each other on LAN. Like, banter's good, but then there's just like some stuff that's kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, relax a little bit, eh?
The thing is with COD, and I remember we were quite heavily involved in COD back when we looked after sponsorship of Tainted Minds for Lenovo.
Yes, of course.
And back then, like online, you saw a lot of toxicity, but like we used to love like the rivalry between Tainted Minds and Mind Freak at the time, and it was almost a WWE sort of atmosphere of they'd throw a bit of shade at each other and they'd cut promos on each other and stuff. But then the shit that goes on Twitter and online and all that, it's just toxic.
Yeah.
And I was in the like YouTube recording side, so I wasn't even in the competitive LAN environment or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was just all online. Everyone was 16 and telling each other very bad things. So I decided for like my own
things that kids online have done to my mother.
Oh God, yes, exactly. That's right.
Oh yeah.
So I took a voluntary step back from that, and I think I was sort of not in the shadows by any means, but I was playing different games with friends that I made through COD, but very much like offline. Like I was playing like League and stuff, and then Counter-Strike happened. Counter-Strike happened, and there was all the original COD people that I was playing with who got a PC, so we moved to mouse and keyboard and playing all that kind of stuff. And then the commentary started to happen, which obviously spurred the streaming. When I always wanted to stream, but same thing. I had 0.6 upload for my whole life, so it'd take me 10 hours to upload a 3-minute YouTube video or whatever. So I finally moved house, and I got a house with NBN, and I was able to stream. And one day, like Haz and stuff, they made a team. It was at the time it was called Fivefold, and then it became Mavericks, where they were playing like some low-level invite Counter-Strike, and no one was commentating their games. And one of the guys go, "Why don't you do it? Like, give it a whirl." And after some very brutal and real but supportive feedback, they then sort of gave me. No, it was great. Like, don't get me wrong. I still give big credit to Muffa if he's completely gone to normie life now. He's a surf photographer now, but good friend of ours, Tom. He was the guy that was basically like, no bullshit. He's like, man, like, follow these guidelines pretty much. Like, he wasn't a commentator, but it was just very real.
You need those people in your life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. 100%. You call people that you want to like suck up to you and be sad about stuff, but then you want the people to be like, that was the right decision. So that was pretty much that. And then it spurred on from there, and then it became the little world that it is now. And like you and me, Fid, we've been to Taipei together with Jess. And, I've done commentary.
What might I say? That was probably one of the best.
So fun.
I've ever done.
Fun.
Yeah.
The best moment, remember when we were in that club and it was like the circle of people dancing and we were talking about it. There was like us three from Australia.
That was so cool.
And everyone around the circle, we're listening to some weird like pop, 90s pop, 2000s pop. And everyone in that circle would have spoken a different language. And we were looking around going, man.
People that spoke Mandarin, people that spoke Cantonese. There was different European people. There was a whole contingency from America as well.
Wild.
So we definitely couldn't understand them after a few beers.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was actually one of the most amazing experiences. All of us dancing and getting on, and there was hugging going on and all that sort of thing. None of us spoke the same language.
No. And not even to be like, the gaming aspect of that event. Like, you remember going to the convention center, like it was like on the 3rd floor in this tiny little area, but it was still just huge. It was like 3 of the MCG stacked on top of each other, this convention center. And like 10% would have been gaming. All the rest was technology, robotics, just incredible stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. Mad. But so around that, and it sucks a little bit. Again, it's very much like a touch and go feeling, because I know that I'm still super lucky to have not been affected by COVID as many other people have. But I was hoping that this year was going to sort of be the breakout year in regards to commentary, because there's just so much going on. And I was hoping to potentially like work at IEM, like on a commentary side. Like I've done work with obviously Lenovo and stuff, which has been phenomenal. So that's a bit rough. But again, it's like, my problems are very small compared to what's actually going on. So just trying to be positive and move.
I can remember personally seeing my first time I ever saw you doing commentary, because every time I used to tune into you streaming, it was just you very silently playing COD.
Yeah.
You're super focused, basically ignoring chat.
Yeah.
And then I tuned in one day and you were suit jacket on.
Yeah.
Full commentary. But in saying that, like it was the first time I'd seen it, and I was just like, "Holy shit, this is Conky's calling! Like he is good at this." Because you were entertaining as well as calling the plays.
It was very controversial at the time, and it was funny because myself, Manic Monday, who you guys would know, and then Mac, we all came up at the same time in the commentary. I guess the rankings or whatever. Like we started off very low, and then people got to know us, and now we're obviously Rob's taken a step back, which is fine, but Mac is doing all the ESL stuff, and he's doing awesome. But it was webcam commentary, and it was apparently very taboo. So I think it got a lot of attention, but also some because all I would do is sit there in board shorts with a suit jacket on top and have my webcam stuck up at the top. And I think it made me stick out, which is that first point of I'm doing something different that no one else is doing. And that's where it got the first sort of thing. And I was able to hone my craft from there, which was cool.
And I can remember it wasn't long after that we had you on stage at PAX.
Yeah, PAX. Yeah.
I can remember talking to somebody about tapping you on the shoulder for GFIN.
Yes. Yep. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was amazing. And you've done amazing things since then. So really proud of you.
It's been an awesome journey, hey.
And going from that guy that I met in the car park at a hotel room to
and that's why I love stuff like this right now, and then obviously what you guys do about connecting people, because I obviously think hard work is a massive part of it, but there is definitely some relationships that I've made that wouldn't have led to certain things that have happened over my time. So
but in saying that, you can get all the connections in the world if you don't do good work. You still don't get anything. There's plenty of people who have my phone number who I haven't worked with because they just haven't proven themselves yet, right? All right, so let's get on to some news.
Oh yeah.
Right, first thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah, you're bringing it up.
Eh?
You're bringing it up. The first one.
I was bringing it up, but the first one because Jack didn't know about this. I added this last minute before we went on the air. PlayStation have just announced how they're going to be doing pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 in America. Very interesting way of doing it. So the only way you're going to be able to buy the pre-orders, I imagine there's still going to be pre-orders through GameStop and whatnot as well. But the first announcement of any pre-orders is doing it through Sony themselves on their website, and they're doing it via a lottery.
Right. Okay. Like shoes. I know some people do shoes like that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So you have to log in with your PlayStation Online ID. Go through that process, and then they're going to randomly draw IDs, and you're going to have the opportunity to pre-order either the full version of the PS5 or the all-digital version. They've got limitations on what you can pre-order. I believe it's one of either machine. Then you can do up to 2 controllers, up to 2 controller charges, and all the other accessories. It's just 2 of each of those. Super interesting. This makes me wonder, is this going to roll out globally? Is this going to be a thing that we have to do here in Australia or in New Zealand? And I find it very interesting that Sony have gone around retail with us.
Yeah.
So they're not having to share
point, though, because normally they would just rely on, Big W and Target and EB Games and for here anyway. They would. I would never think if I'm going to go buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, I'm going to go to EB Games or something. I'm not going to go to xbox.com.au to buy one. But that, maybe. I don't know. Because I guess it's the same with shoes too. You're going to go to Platypus, or you're going to go to, I don't know, something like that.
But in saying that, to what Conky said, you do it for really limited edition Jordans and stuff like that. Quite often you do have to go into a ballot to try and buy those shoes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, it's to stop people from missing out all the time. But the reason for that is rarity. Yeah, so correct. Is this a sign that PlayStation just don't have enough machines?
Ah, right. Okay.
Are we going to see a situation similar to the Switch when it first came out, where they were like hen's teeth when they first came out?
True. Very true.
I remember as COVID came through when trying to buy a Switch and then noticing like how few there was because they were just selling out everywhere because of like Animal Crossing and that. And then noticing that like people couldn't get them. So then they started buying Xboxes and then PlayStations again. Like I couldn't believe that we were seeing like a console apocalypse. There was like nothing available that you could buy. It was wild.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, and in the end, I ended up having to find someone with a secondhand Switch for myself.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Do you think this could be their sort of, I guess, not really too sure about their sale? Like they can't really predict their sales with their
it could be research, right? It could be some real-time research. It's quite common for companies to do this before they go to market. But I would seriously hope that, how many months out are we from launch? 2-3 months? That they would already have a stockpile of these machines.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
hopefully.
like sitting ready to go.
Yeah.
So they can go to retail stores and whatever. I don't know. That's crazy. They could just be trying to do something different. Maybe try and take on that sort of whole hype thing. Like, clothing labels are doing these days. Like, everybody's doing their, limited edition stuff.
Yeah. Well, what'll be cool, like,
kind of thing. So maybe they're kind of just trying to tap into that.
I personally would buy this if they did the same, buy it through PlayStation. If they did the same thing that Xbox did with the Xbox One at launch, if you pre-ordered the Xbox One, you got a day one edition that had day one edition engraved on it. And on the controller.
Okay.
True.
Right? So
very true.
It became a collector's piece. It was so if Sony did the same thing, I would very much be tempted to buy it from them. Being a collector and just wanting to own stupid things because they've got a
little
I still remember buying the Gears of War Xbox 360, I think it was, the Slim one, just because it was like, I didn't need it, but it was red. It was cool. I wanted that.
Oh, dude, I know so many people, like being involved in the gaming collecting communities. I know so many people that have like 10, 11, 12 Xbox 360s.
Yeah, all the different versions.
They wanted as many of the limited edition ones. I actually know somebody who has a signed R2-D2 Star Wars Edition 360.
Oh, yeah.
It was signed, but it's signed by what's the name that played Leia?
That's crazy.
Shit, radio. Yeah.
And he almost sold it, and then the week she died, he was like, "Nope, keep it.
Yeah, this is mine."
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's so cool. But there's a lot of consoles out there. Even if you go back to like, Xbox 360, because I bought the Modern Warfare 3 limited edition when it came out. So I thought the controller, you turned it on, and it went like it made noise when you turned it on. It was loud as hell. You knew when I was turning my Xbox on.
But PS4's done a heap of limited editions. Actually, Xbox has as well, eh?
Yeah, Xbox. I feel I get it. I don't know. It was weird though. Like I feel like it was like a wave because Xbox came at like a good point with their like Halo and like Fable and stuff. But I felt like it was like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and then like swap back like Xbox 360, and now everyone's like PlayStation again. It's such a weird way of watching it all. And then there's just the people who are like Nintendo the whole way through. Just never change.
Before we jump on to the next story,
PC guys, girls.
Yeah, the PC guys, yeah.
Before we jump into the next story, while we're talking Xbox and PlayStation, I've got a question for you. As I say, I've been asking a lot of people, and I love hearing everyone's different opinions. You've got a choice: PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. Is that what we're calling it now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Which one do you choose if you could only choose one, and why do you choose it?
I think I'd probably go to PlayStation at the moment because of the exclusives look like more my kind of game. Not so much like, I think the one thing that majorly turned me off, because I did get the Xbox One, and just like Xbox Live, I felt like just turned to shit whenever that Xbox One came out. And I've just been so turned off ever since of that platform. But, and yeah, don't know. I think definitely my interest sort of changed. Like if Xbox came and still stayed the way it did when it was like the 360 version, and they didn't try and be super integrating and, trying to change the world, I think they definitely would have kept a lot of more of their fan base, I suppose. But look, I feel like they're flogging a dead horse with Halo. Like PlayStation seem to be quite more diverse with their exclusives, where they want to go, where they want to be.
Interesting.
Fair points.
All right, next story, Jack.
Very fair points. The next one is about Dota 2. The Dota 2 International 2020, mainly about their prize pool, because Dota 2 prize pools for internationals are always insane.
Every year.
Like it was like 22 million, then the next one was 24, then 26. But they've just broken their own record again with a prize pool sitting right now. What is it? 34,393,000.
Jesus.
That is nuts.
Yeah. So I think last year's total coming in at 34,440,000, but it's still there's still like time to go. So they're just predicting that it's
it's definitely going to go up, right?
Yeah, well, they try to beat it every year. Well, the craziest thing around that, Jack, is Anna, one of the players from OG, because they won it back to back, as far as I'm aware. He's the Aussie fella, and he's.
I actually got a chance to meet him in Melbourne a couple of years.
There you go. But yeah, he's in the. It's either the top 10 or top 100. I can't remember exactly what, but top X like paid Australian sports people.
Yeah,
because of his 2 TI wins. That's just like incredible. Hey,
isn't that crazy?
You know, win 2 years worth of competition, and if you invest right, you set up for bloody life. Like you make more. You make more people than people ever will. More money.
I can remember hearing that he wasn't going to come back for the next year the first time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and then he came back and won it again.
It was because of like school or uni or something like that. Right?
Yeah,
something like that. I remember because I remember when we obviously heard about it. When he won, everyone was losing it. And then Jared, that was at work, was watching it. He was like super into Dota, and he was like watching it there, and we were sort of watching it as well. I don't really understand it, but I sort of watched it.
Yeah, Dota's definitely not a game that I follow at all.
I played a little bit, so I kind of like get it like a tiny bit, but listening to what they're saying and watching it is a whole other ball game. But I still enjoy it. And they get real hyped about it. And when he won, and it was like that was like massive news, obviously. And then you look at he's in like the top 10 like esports paid players. And then like you look at like global sports people and Australian sports people was like up there, and you're like, that is just insane.
I think the thing that I find the most interesting about Dota as an esport is that their prize pool is crowdsourced by the fans.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Whereas every other one is usually sponsor sourced prize pools. So like IEM, the funding comes predominantly from Intel. But this here, all crowdsourced. It's all fans who just throwing money at this big tournament. It's amazing.
Which is pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. But it's
which
still,
shows how
it's still
elite
up
the
there
fan base is, right? Like the fact that they're able to beat it every year, and like Dota is like a household esports name, but like I don't know a whole lot of people that are actually like super into it. But clearly, there's hundreds of thousands of them around, millions around the world.
I personally only know 2 people who are heavily into it. One of them was Jared, who used to work with us, and the other one is Chris Wong, who used to work with us. And he used to take days off or work from home days so he could watch it.
I remember that.
I remember him telling me about, it must have been before I moved over to Australia, that they used to show the Dota finals in movie theaters here.
Well, our casino here, they'll put it up in the sport, like there's a sports bar which has got the massive TVs, and you'll actually, they have at the location where the footy of stuff will usually be on, but they have the TI on over there because it's like 2-3 in the morning, some of the games, so they just take up the whole screens and put it up there. It's wild to think about.
That's so sick. I miss watching CS tournaments at sports bars.
Oh man.
Oh, you real? It's only happened a few times, but I don't know. It's just a whole different vibe. It's like you go there to watch the UFC most of the time or something like that.
Yeah.
But you go there and sit there and you're just watching CS and just having a party or something.
I personally think CS is a great spectator esport, though.
So good, man.
It doesn't have a high learning curve as a viewer. Like if you don't play CS, you can watch it for about half an hour and you understand what's happening. Whereas I find with League of Legends and Dota and stuff, there's so many different strategies and different elements and so many different heroes that you've got to try and figure out what they will do. And the learning curve for me, I think, is just right up there Delicious game.
CS, it's like if you're watching it with someone who knows like the game, when you very basically understand the money scenario, so it's like why they might have different weapons or whatever for a little bit, they pick it up in like 10 minutes. And the cool thing is if something hype happens, everyone knows, like, because you can clearly see it. I still remember the very first IEM, and I remember exactly because it was Brainstorm who was casting with Elfish Guy, and Nifty with the Nifty 50, and everyone was like, the whole crowd was like bowing down, like Nifty, the whole thing. It was wild. But he gets into apartments on Inferno and like B hops all the way down, and Brainstorm goes like, movement, boy, and then the shot hits, and the whole, I'm getting chills talking about it now because the whole stadium just rocketed like off one shot, like one bullet, just like, because there was so much build up into that game. So but just being there with your friends, even if they don't play Counter-Strike, is just such an awesome experience.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be sick when that's all back, when COVID goes away. We can all get back. But the next thing I wanted to talk about was so I actually knew about this. I saw it on Reddit earlier this year when talking about Doom Eternal. One of the lead engineers or one engine programmers said that Doom Eternal could run at 1,000 FPS if you had a machine that could do it. So basically, what they did is Bethesda recruited in here they've got a Polish hardware retailer, XCOM, to figure out how to run Doom Eternal at 1,000 frames a second, and they actually made it happen.
Oh shit!
There is a video which is pretty wild. Basically the same as the
I'm just watching the video while you're talking. It's amazing.
The guys that used to do when we used to do the events with Intel, they used to bring their liquid nitrogen, all that sort of stuff, and pour it on the CPU and just try and boost stuff as high as they can. I know we watched it a little bit. I don't really understand. I think it's just obviously overclocking all different parts to try and boost it. But they've got like the list of specs here, and it's not even really like, you could easily go and buy this stuff right now and have this computer at home, and probably a lot of people do, especially streamers, would have a very similar setup to what this is. Obviously, you're not going to be pulling apart your GPU and CPU and filling it with fucking silicon and liquid nitrogen and all this shit. But like, for what they've used, it's pretty crazy.
It's
what they've been
doable.
able to do. It's wild. It's really, really, really insane. So, but there's like a whole build there. They've obviously got like the that big like long chamber thing they put on top of the CPU to pour the liquid nitrogen in. Just silicon the back of the GPU for whatever reason. They've got it. Okay, I didn't say that before. They've put like another chamber on the front of the graphics card as well, where they would obviously pour it into as well.
Because the graphics card's going to be going handy as well.
That's wild, bro. That is so crazy. But yeah, I just saw that, and I knew that PC Game would had a thing on it, so I just thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, that's just wild.
And it just goes to show Doom can run on anything, and now can run on anything at 100 frames a second.
1,000.
1,000, sorry.
Yep. But yeah, very cool, very cool. And the last thing I brought up, I was going to bring up was Call of Duty announced their release date today.
Oh yeah, shit! Is it around November again? The usual
November
spot?
13th.
Usual spot.
Yep.
November 13th. So Black Ops Cold War, and the trailer actually looks like pretty sick. I watched it before this morning, and it actually looks pretty cool. It looks really cool. I've always been a big fan of Black Ops.
Have you heard the controversy behind the trailer there?
No, I haven't looked into it.
So apparently the original trailer, when it first went out, had Tiananmen Square riots in the edit.
Oh shit! Okay.
And then they removed it, which people are saying, well, this is just proof that once again Blizzard and Activision have bowed to the pressures of China.
Yeah, right.
Because as far as China's concerned, Tiananmen Square never happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty wild.
That's just a little factoid for you.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Call of Duty's always been one that's, push the boundaries, I suppose, of what they'll actually show. Like, and with the optional cutscene selection as well, and like Modern Warfare 2 with the Russian airport being like one of the first ones, like that. Everyone remembers that. But that is like off the controversy topic. Like, I really do hope Call of Duty revive their single player campaign, because man, like Modern Warfare 2, COD 4 was a little bit grim, I suppose. Like, it was very dark, but it was hard. Like, I remember back, even everyone was playing like COD 4 multiplayer, World at War multiplayer, whatever. But it was still a flex to go through and finish the story game. People still wanted to finish the single player mode. And it was almost like, if you hadn't finished on veteran, like I used to not let myself play the multiplayer until I'd finished, not on veteran or anything, but until I'd finished the story, then I go play multiplayer. But I guess because it's such a hard market now for multiplayer, they've just completely moved away. And then, like loot boxes and all this shit. Luckily, COD's not so much pay to win, which is good. It hasn't really ever been. It's all cosmetic, which is great.
Yeah.
But like I really do want them to go back to their roots in that sense. And I think they did that with like having mixed developers, right? Where they've had like one developer on the single player side and one on the multiplayer side. Is that right? I think they did that a little bit. Because man, Modern Warfare 2, that was incredible for a single player game. And then you jump online and sure, there was some, really annoying stuff that you could do in that, but it was still both elements were phenomenal. You could get the dad who wants to sit on his couch with a beer and play on the big screen. And then you've got, your esports side or your competitive side. So I really...
And to be honest, there was a lot of guys that sat on both sides of those options as well.
Did, exactly.
Back when I lived in New Zealand, I had the pleasure of doing some work with Kim.com.
Ah, yeah, of course, yeah.
And he is nuts. Like, I still to this day, having been involved in the esports side of things since knowing him, still have not seen anybody that can own Call of Duty like that man can.
He was rank 1 on the free-for-all for Modern Warfare 3 all time, I think.
Yeah, global.
Globally rank 1 in the world for free-for-all.
Well,
holy
if you have a look, his what's his name? Mega Racer.
Yeah, Mega Racer, that's the one. Yeah,
the name. And every time a new Call of Duty comes out, he will sit at the top for about a week.
Yeah, because he will just play all hours of the day for the first couple of weeks or whatever. Yeah,
and then he's over it and he leaves. But like, I saw him literally in game running circles around pro players and killing them with a knife.
Yeah, it's wild. Very wild.
These esports players just couldn't get him.
That's crazy.
Absolutely insane.
That's so sick.
But he was not an esports guy and has no interest in being an esports guy.
Yeah,
he just wants to be a millionaire who sits on the couch and tries to not be sent to America for court cases.
Yep.
Oh my god. Well, that's the news. I just thought that was some cool things to bring up.
Some very cool stuff, definitely.
I'm actually keen for Call of Duty for some reason. I don't know why. I haven't played it in the last couple of years, but I'm actually pretty keen for that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens when it gets closer.
So, Conky, every week we put it out to our social media, let them know that we've got a guest on and who our guest's going to be, and we ask for a few questions. So, Jack, what does the Twitter community have to ask Conky this week?
Let me grab these and bring them over here so I can see them. Alrighty. The first one is... Where did it go? There it is. Is from Stella, OCE. And Stella asks, what's your favorite HelloFresh meal?
Ah, interesting. So I'm actually not doing HelloFresh anymore because it was awesome. I would recommend it to anyone. But
were you sponsored?
No, I never did get sponsored. And that's not the reason why I stopped. The reason why I stopped is because when you do the cooking, like they say it's like, 30, 45 minutes or whatever, but half the time, by the time you dick around with all the, washing and everything, it ends up being like an hour and a half. And when I can slap together something way easier that'll make like 4 to 6 meals that I can meal prep to take for lunches and shit, it cuts down my time if I'm doing whatever I want as opposed to following this. So it's really cool to like give me some inspiration back for cooking, because I think you guys might know, but like before insurance, I actually worked in a restaurant for 5 years and loved my chefing and everything. So that was really cool. They had some really good like Mexican food. Like I think there was, it was just even something simple. Like I think there was one where it was like a chili con carne, but it was like chicken and it was really, really nice. I don't know, I like my Mexican food. So yeah, that one of those Mexican meals was probably my favorite.
I tried HelloFresh a couple of times, and both times I did exactly the same as what you're saying. I found it really good to get inspirational ideas for food that I can make later on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
First time I ever tried gochujang as a flavoring.
Yeah, nice.
And
Yeah,
I constantly have that in my fridge now.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool.
We recently cancelled ours just because like it would get to like a Thursday or a Friday, and like I would work late or the kids would get home late, and then Lisa, like, I'm not cooking, so we'll just order something. And then it's
exactly.
We've already paid for the damn meal. Then you got a fridge full of shit you haven't used, these bags, and you're like, fuck. Yeah.
That's I think it was when the time when I like threw out a meal because I get 4 meals, and I think by Saturday or whatever, it's no good anymore. So I think the third week in a row where I had to throw out 1 meal, I was like, fuck, all right, I'm probably wasting money.
It's just a waste of money.
No. It was like value friendly in the sense that like you are getting what you pay for, but definitely it's not like you think about what you can do with $20 at like Woolies or Coles or something. You get down, buy some pasta and some mince, and done. You make 6 meals easy. So but no, it was good, and I think for anyone who has the time, especially during ISO, and who is interested in cooking, it's basically cooking that's almost done for you. You just need to follow the steps. So it's really good.
It is good though. All right, so Panic OCE asked, when is the fire cape coming, bro? The old school fire cape.
If I didn't get it dressed as Tifa, I'm not gonna get it, mate. It's just not gonna happen. Every single because it's like if anyone doesn't understand what it is, it's basically this like it should only really total like 30 minutes to an hour, but you basically go through these waves of killing enemies, and then there's one final challenge at the end. The challenge is not hard, but it's basically the hour it takes to get there, and then the shame when you don't get it that just never wants to let me go back. So I've tried it on stream 3 times. One was a decent effort, which was the last one. But then the other 2 was like, I've done the 45 minutes of the leading into it, and then made like 1 click mistake that has just made me feel like an idiot, and also just miserable because the whole chat's laughing at me. So never.
And then all your food drains and your pots are gone, and then you're fucked.
I'm like, mate, I'm not only wasted an hour, but I'm also sad because I suck.
And now chat's spamming Keck W's.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, your boy Keezy asks, how big is your...
Yeah.
That's where he ended it, but I assume he meant KD in CS, I assume.
Very, very small. I'm not. That's the funniest thing, like, because I guess a lot of casters are like, because the reason I play the game so much is because I want to, like, especially Counter-Strike Valorant, is because I want to understand the game at a certain level. Like you'll run into a lot of casters, and this is by detriment to them to a degree, who you never want to tell a pro player what you would have done if you suck, right? So like one of the best casters in the region at the moment, Pilsky, he is actually a former pro player. And him breaking down a play and being like, that was silly because of X or whatever, understandable because he has done it or could do it. Whereas then if you've got the casual couch gamer being like, oh man, I could have done that. It's like, no, you couldn't have. Like, otherwise you'd be playing.
Like,
so,
given the plays on something that they've never ever done and would not be able to do at that level, so same level.
I play the shit out of the games to understand it all to a good level. But still, even then, I don't call out people because I'm like decent and I'd be above average, but I'm not great by any means. If you want to challenge me at Guitar Hero, come at me left, right, and center. But everything else.
Oh my god, fair enough. All
Except
right,
Rudism will probably still be.
So there you go, your boy Kazi.
maybe that's what we need to do at some stage during a stream or something. Do the rematch between Conky and Rude.
I think it has been a while since we've both probably played, so I think it'd be really interesting. Hey,
I mean, I know he's still actively using a Guitar Hero controller, but he's certainly not using it for Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
He'd have to pull it. He'd have to unmod the whole thing and rebuild it for Guitar Hero. Oh my god! I got one more from Good Gal Theo. Yes, how you say it? Teo, sorry. Bathtub of spiders or a bathtub of rats?
Oh shit!
Is there a story behind the spiders and the rats thing, or is it just
No, I have no idea.
just a good question, I guess.
Oh, I guess like both of it would depend on if they bite or not. Like, I guess the rats would be like less like skin crawly, I guess, because it'd just be like soft, kind of, I
It's
guess.
like
And
mammals running all over you, little tiny
yeah,
dogs.
yeah, as opposed to like just thinking you're going to permanently die. But
Yeah. I'd
yeah.
go rats 100%.
Yeah, I go rats. Yeah, I think so.
But I love rats, so
Yeah, well,
I
that's
don't
it.
know.
Like, I don't got pet rats and everything, so yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you do, don't you?
I would
weird.
go spiders only because I can't stand the idea of clawy rats on me.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're bitey spiders, maybe I want the rats.
Yeah, true. Depends. Maybe we got to be a bit more specific. Are we talking like sketchy spiders versus sewer rats, or heaps of daddy long legs versus a couple of
Domestic rats.
domestic rats?
That's it.
Yeah, take it to Twitter. It's a little bit more. We need to. Maybe that's what we'll put that in. That's the question or the tweet that goes out with this. That'll be the discussion around it for whatever reason. Because that's just where we ended up on this show this time.
All right, before we call it a day, what are we all looking forward to this week? In the next week? Gamescom,
more
boys.
PGA? Yeah. Ooh, maybe we should have spoke about that. Oh, yeah. Next week. We'll talk about next week.
Next week we should have heaps to talk about with Gamescom coming up. We're going to have Fall Guys Season 2 is being announced.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's still there's going to be a heap of announcements next week. So that's probably what I'm looking forward to. I have made the conscious decision, usually for announcements, I either stay up for them or I get up early for them.
Mm-hmm.
But Gamescom is starting at like 3 or 4 a.m. every morning.
Yeah, right
That's
in the middle.
Worst time.
So I've sort of made the call that I'll just watch the YouTube trailers.
Yeah.
When I get up.
Yeah. I get to play the preview tonight of Mafia Definitive Edition.
Oh wow!
PC right now. There's only 5 of us in Australia that get to have access to it.
Do you get to stream it or not?
I get to stream it tonight. Yeah.
Awesome, man! That's super exciting.
That's sick. So that's what I'm excited for this week. Yep.
I'm excited to rest this weekend. I'm actually looking forward to a good sleep. But gaming-wise, I'm keen for obviously ESL 1 Cologne's on at the moment, so the NA games and the EU games, and then the Australian finals will be on like later this week, which is awesome. Just some really, really good quality Counter-Strike, and I'm just so happy that like despite all the things going on in the world, sure we can't be there, sure it sucks, but the fact that we're able to still put on this content for everyone to watch, it's really, really cool.
I think all of us are very lucky that are involved in the gaming industry. We are the entertainment form of choice for a lot of people, so we're very lucky.
Absolutely. Aside from that, I guess this is like a little bit down the track, but the Fortress Valorant comp at the moment, it got delayed a little bit. But I think the reason I'm excited for that part is because there is some like really phenomenal teams at the moment that haven't really had a super big chance to showcase. So I'm just keen to see more top tier Valorant in Australia, because I swear in NA at the moment there's like a competition every 5 minutes, whereas over here it's a bit more spurred out, which is probably better. I think if you've got too much competition, there's not enough time to like practice and learn new skills and whatever, because you're just constantly playing. But anyway, so that'll be good. And yeah, like I'm really actually looking forward to. I've reinstalled Final Fantasy 9, which is like a very relaxed sort of game. I'm just keen to dig into that, to be fair, as well. That'd be really good.
Dan, where can everyone find you online, bro?
Okay, so my Twitch is Conky with 3 Ys, so CONKYYY. My Twitter, which I don't recommend following unless you want to be spammed with crap, is Conky OCE. And aside from that, same. My Instagram is the same. But really, look, I try to stream pretty much every night. It's a tough run with doing work full time, but it's like one of the things that people remind me, it's like, why do you stream? And it's because I friggin' love it. Like, I jump on the camera because it is something that I'm passionate about, and I have so much fun doing it. And the good always outweighs the bad. So yeah, that's where you can find me most of the time. But yeah, look, love doing whatever you guys want me to do. It's so much fun trying new things. I'll try to do a cooking stream this weekend, and check me out if you want. And massive shouts to you guys, of course, as well, for not only having me on the show, but all the years we spent together as well, guys. It's
looking forward to being able to catch up in person with you and share a beer again, bro.
Please. And Jack can have a water.
All about the beers. Love the beers.
Loves the beers.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. You can catch us every week right here on YouTube and on Facebook. And you can follow us online on Twitter at goto.game, on Facebook. Just search up goto.game. On Instagram, we're at goto.game. And of course, you can find anything about us, plus news and reviews going up every week on our website, www.goto.game. We'll be back next week with another guest. Thanks once again, Conky, for joining us.
Legend.
And that's us.
Play does.
See you next week.
See you guys.